Welcome back, Twitch. We're back for the second part of tonight's show, and I got a beer and I'm ready to go. So, Travis, what's going on?
Yeah, so I think we zoom back around to Buck. So you guys have made your way to the nicer part of the city. And Tamrin's Fall isn't very big. It's actually a fairly fortified place. But there is a section of the city within the inner wall that's a little bit nicer. It's probably, the shops that you're walking by are all closed, but they look nice. There are a couple of inns that look like they would be very expensive to stay at. And a couple of restaurants that are actually open. And one is what did I call
100 ways to quinoa.
Well, 100 ways to quinoa. So that's totally what it's called, and it's
100 ways to quinoa.
Yep, and it's open, and
Yeah.
Shoshana kind of gives you like a glance and says, "Well, let's try it, shall we?"
Yes. And Buck, like, as he's walking into this place, is still thinking, like, oh, she thinks I'm a man. This is gonna be awkward if she keeps traveling with us. Okay.
Yeah.
He bucks up a little bit and goes into this restaurant too. Yes.
But yeah, so you buck up, head in, and yeah, the maitre d' comes out like immediately and says, hello, sir, and madame. Do the two of you have a reservation? And you can see it's like a high elf man. He's slim, got the very hollow cheeks, kind of is being polite, but is also kind of looking down his nose a bit. Slicked back blonde hair. And he looks at you, Buck.
No, we don't have a reservation. Is one needed?
Of course not, sir.
Oh.
No problem. If you wouldn't mind waiting at the front bar, we will seat you as soon as a table opens.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I like go to curtsy, but then I'm like, wait, no, bow. I bow to him.
Yeah, so there's kind of like you're maybe grab at your belt a little to pull back your frock, and it's not there.
Like, oh, this is awkward. This is so awkward.
Yeah, he gives a very sanctimonious bow, says, please, and ushers you in. Yeah, so there's a beautiful, like...
Okay, so we go...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I said we would go over to the bar to wait.
Yeah, so you're seated at this beautiful, like, stained wood bar. Several bottles of very expensive elven wine kind of line the shelf. And there are some bottles lower that you recognize. Definitely not elven. There's some human ale, and there's some dwarven turnip liquor, and various other things. Maybe a gnomish spirit of some kind. You can't read the bottle. And
rude.
Well,
I can't now.
Okay.
I can't read. I'm just like, that looks.
Oh,
familiar.
you can't.
Like,
yeah, sorry, you can't read.
I can't. No. I'm like, well, that looks familiar.
Yeah. So Shoshana sits down next to you and says, "Ooh, wow, there's a lot of variety here. What would you like to order?"
Anything elven? And I give her like an awkward smile because I like I said, I can't read any of it. I don't know what anything says.
Yeah. So yeah, the bartender comes over and she pulls out some coin and says, "We'd like some fine elven wine, if you wouldn't mind. I don't have a particular type I prefer." And she sort of looks at you.
I like get kind of wide-eyed because I'm just not used to this situation, and I'm just like, whatever you think the lady would like.
Of course, sir. We could get you a nice white Zinfandel.
Sure.
Very good choice, sir.
A plus, Travis. A plus.
And you see his eyes like glance down at the money and that she's putting it out and glance back up to you, and you see the very slightest of sneers on his face as he goes to like go get the wine.
A bad sneer, I assume.
He's like, "Oh, the lady's paying." So
Well, look,
Yeah.
we don't go by traditional gender roles here, okay?
yeah, there you go. Very much so, not. So yeah, he comes back with some wine that Shoshana starts sipping. She says, "So, you said you were from and she sort of trails off a little bit. Have you ever told her where you're from?
Yeah, I told her that I'm from Revenant last time.
From Revenant. I've never been to the Great Walled Fortress. Is it interesting?
Interesting probably wouldn't be the word I would use.
I mean, they say it's the greatest stronghold in the world. Survived through the dark times, hundreds of years, despite barbarian attacks and the dragons and.
As such, the people are a hardened folk, and I wouldn't say that fun is the name of the game there. There's a lot more focus on survival and training. As I told you, both of my parents helped train me. So the focus is most certainly dominated by the military. Children will play games, obviously, but some of the songs or rhymes that they have are not exactly what you'd find other children saying. They're a little bit more gruesome sometimes.
Oh my. I guess that befits a warrior culture. And as a side note, has Fawn ever actually been to the capital of Revenant? Because right, you grew up in kind of the elven sort of woodsy area.
Yeah.
Whereas the Great Fortress is like it's between the elves and the dwarves.
Yeah.
And it's more of a mixed racial place.
So Buck would have been there probably a few times in those coming of age type things where it's like, okay, you're sort of an adult now, so let's take a trip. And then a little bit later on, hey, you're an adult now. Would you like to stay here or stay at home? You know, kind of like the Amish would do, but elves instead of Amish.
Okay. So you went and did a bunch of coke and.
Yeah. I mean, Amish people do that in general. You don't need to be on Rumspringa to do it, but yeah. So. Take that little break there
Sure.
in the city.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so she nods and says, "Well, what do your people do for fun? I mean, it can't all be training and fighting, right? The elves are renowned for their art and their artistry, their singing and their music playing."
Buck just kind of stops and thinks for a moment back to like our childhood, and is just like, did we do a lot of fun things?
Yeah.
Buck didn't really.
Do we get a montage of young Fawn like training like Rocky, just hitting the speed bag or what?
Yeah, you would see like a young Fawn just like, you know, mostly training with her horse. Obviously different horses over the years because, you know, she's... How old is she? I forget off the top of my head. She is 165, so obviously she is trained with many different horses. So you'd see her, you know, going through the different years of, you know, training different horses and practicing combat and swords and scouting and, you know, killing dwarves and stuff, and not so much fun stuff.
Nice.
So Buck would probably make something up and say, yeah, when I was very young, we occasionally partook in singing and dancing. You know, we had I mean, my favorite was the Warriors Feast. I believe I told you about this before. You know, welcoming
Yes, the
fall and
feast for
yeah,
Halmir.
yes. So
Did
no,
did you sing anything?
no.
No, during the
well,
Warriors Feast, they don't have songs. The children wouldn't accompany the band.
I'm not very good at it, so I would hum along for most of it. I would know the words.
You were lip syncing.
Yeah, you could put it that way. I am not so much the artsy one like my distant relatives are.
Can I tell you a secret, Buck? Whenever we had church choir, I did that too. She's like, don't tell the priests. They still think I might break out in song any time since I was in the choir when I was younger. Never gonna.
That sounds terrible. That's not that you lip sync.
Oh,
but
you haven't heard me
singing.
sing. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing either. So we'll leave that to Nina, and perhaps Dorian.
Really, Nina sings? All I've heard is guttural screams and usually the thwack of a large blade into flesh.
She can be dainty when she wants to. It's just rare.
Yeah, I think she sips a little wine and then kind of snorts a little.
Yeah. Nina's an interesting character.
You certainly all are. A very eclectic bunch.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't really know how we all got together, but we work relatively well, I'd say. Kaven and I occasionally, vie for the attention of, who's the better ranger, so that's always interesting, and Dorian...
Oh, for a second there, I thought you were going to say vie for the attention of the women you run into.
I wouldn't say Kaven generally is in the running for that, but...
Hey!
Ow! Hey!
Who's the baby daddy? Who's the baby daddy?
I would laugh if your girlfriend came in like, what is going on?
So yeah, she kind of laughs and says, well, he certainly is much more quiet than you and, well, doesn't have such a way with words. And she flashes you a smile. And at that point, I think the maitre d' sort of walks up and says, a table is ready for you, sir. Madame.
I'm just like sweating, like, oh, thank God. Food, can talk about food.
Excellent. Please follow me. And he bows again and leads you into the restaurant. And I think we look back at a similar scene. As you guys are seated for food, we see Filverell come back, place some plates in front of both you and her, Kaven. And she sits back down and says, well, you haven't run away on me yet. I hope you like I hope you like potatoes and carrots. It seems the stew is rather heavy on them, and light on much else. But you were telling me about your travels and what you had been up to the last few months. It's been some time since we last saw each other.
Yeah. Honestly.
You're playing up that charisma.
Like Kaven tries to think back of like what the next thing he did was after the last part, and he's just like he can't remember because so much stuff has happened since the dragon.
Yeah.
The first dragon, I should say. He's like, I don't even know where to begin. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of adventuring. Some of it's been good, some of it's been frustrating. But the company's been decent.
Oh, you're still traveling with the same group you said, right?
Yeah? Oh. No. No, we lost one.
Oh my! What?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was. Just stepped the wrong place. Didn't know where we were going, to be honest.
Oh no! They fell off a cliff.
Doesn't laugh, but no. No physically missteps. We ran into a creature that didn't agree with where we were walking, I guess.
Oh my! Oh, who was it? It wasn't Darian, was it?
No, it wasn't Drano.
Darius?
Drano.
Drano. Oh, Drano. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. Well, you're easy to remember. And she like lays a hand on top of yours, and then like pulls it back. Oh, so your friend Drano is fine.
Yeah, he's fine. It was our Amrith was a priestess, right? Like that's something you would call her, a priestess, or
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she was a servant of a certain type of god,
Sure,
so
okay.
priestess would be
sure.
fairly appropriate.
Yeah, I'm saying it was our priestess actually, Amrith.
Oh, I don't remember her. I think I just met you and Drano in the bar. Well, that was a bit of a wild night.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've just been doing crazy shit. What have you been up to? Did you just get out of oh god, get out of Platinus when the war was kicking up?
Yes, I mean, I left fairly early. When humans start fighting, it's not like elven warfare.
No,
There
it's
is
silly
quite-
and for no reason.
Exactly. I felt the same way. I mean, all of this started over some dumb weapon that people wouldn't give back after the last stupid, silly human war, and I don't know why I moved there in the first place.
A weapon.
Yes, the people of Taurus wanted it returned after the last war, which it seems they lost. If you lose a war, you should lose whatever weapons get captured during it. I don't know. I try not to involve myself in silly human politics.
I hear you. I guess I just engaged in small talk to hear about her story and travels to this point, and then like
Yeah.
So, I remember her. Did she work in the castle?
No, she didn't work in the castle at all.
Okay.
Do you like ask her that? Or do you
I mean, I don't ask her
let-
directly, but I just kind of like get a feel like, oh, what were you doing in Platinus to begin with?
Oh, yes. Well, I was working as a seamstress in the capital.
Mm.
And yes, well, we met you and Drano that one night, and well, I had never seen the castle before, and it was very magical. But yes, there was the celebration after the dragon was killed, and it was such a wild time. Then I went back, well, to my home. I lived in Torhold, and well, then everything kicked off, and well, I found out, and she kind of like looks down at her stomach and says, and well, that's when I tried to find you. I hope you don't think I do that a lot. I don't, and that's why I came looking for you. And she sort of trails off. But yes, my travels have been interesting. I went all the way through Cien, and well, it seems they're not fond of refugees.
Really, not even a fellow elf. I'm getting no sound from you, Travis. Oh no! What's going on here? Technical difficulties, people? we are going to try to get these people back, and we'll join you in a second. Sorry for the apologize. Or sorry for this.